Alex is someone I get along very well with on and off the court. Again, another physical battle, but obviously against an opponent that was, playing on a high level. So I'm glad to overcome it. I was really blown away by how inspired she was. I mean, I was blown away by watching a great athletes on that ring.
No one expected this. Not the tennis world, not the WTA, and certainly not Alex Eala herself. Novak Djokovic stepped into a press conference and delivered a stunning revelation that instantly sent shockwaves through every court, locker room, and corner of the sport. He faced the cameras and openly declared that he is actively interested in partnering with Alex Eala for mixed doubles at the Stuttgart Open. Just like that. No speculation, no rumors, no leaks. A direct public statement from one of the greatest champions the sport has ever seen, and suddenly the entire tennis world paused. Before diving into exactly what Djokovic said and what it could mean for Eala, her future, and the women's game as a whole, there is an important backstory to understand, because this moment did not appear out of thin air. The groundwork had already been laid. In fact, it was Alex Eala who first sparked the idea. She had openly shared her admiration and excitement about the possibility of sharing the court with Novak Djokovic, expressing how playing alongside someone of his stature would be one of the most unforgettable experiences of her career. She delivered those words with humility and genuine passion, the kind that reflects deep respect for the sport and its legends. Djokovic did not respond with a simple acknowledgement or social media reaction. Instead, he answered with a press conference declaration that effectively told the world he wanted her as his partner. And when Novak Djokovic says your name in that setting, it carries enormous significance. This is not just another voice in tennis. This is a player who has spent decades performing under the most intense pressure imaginable and built one of the most decorated careers in history. When he speaks, tournament directors, officials, players, and fans everywhere listen carefully. Now all of them have heard him mention Alex Eala with clear intent, strong conviction, and the full authority of his legendary status behind him. Reports suggest Djokovic has been following Eala since the Australian Open, where he praised her and highlighted her as one of the most important tennis talents to emerge from the Philippines. This is not sudden hype or passing attention. This is consistent support that has grown stronger over time, and now he has elevated that support to a level the tennis world never saw coming at the start of the season.
I saw the other day with Alex Eala, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big interest.
Reports also revealed that Novak Djokovic actually shared an on-court session with Alexandra Eala, and by every account, he enjoyed every moment of it. He described the experience as fun, but then added a comment that carried far more weight than it seemed at first. He said she is actually good. On the surface, that might sound simple, but when those words come from Djokovic, they land differently. This is a player who has spent years competing against the greatest athletes in tennis history. He understands elite ball striking, timing, anticipation, and touch at the highest possible level. So when he labels someone as genuinely good after sharing the court with her, that is not casual praise. That is a champion recognizing real ability in a rising talent. That is experience speaking, built from decades at the very top of the sport. He went further, describing Eala as impressive on television, but even more impressive in person. He called her an incredible athlete, carving her place in the Women's Tennis Association for all the right reasons. Not for controversy or noise, but for her tennis, her work ethic, her mindset, and her discipline. Those are not the words of someone reacting to a scoreline. Those are the words of someone who has looked closely and recognized something authentic. What makes the Stuttgart development even more powerful is that Djokovic is not only reacting to her talent, he is responding to her character. After her exit at Indian Wells Open, Djokovic reportedly sought her out, and instead of focusing on defeat, he focused on her reaction. He admired how quickly she returned to training, how she shifted her focus forward, and how she refused to dwell on disappointment. That discipline impressed him more than any single win. He has even spoken about how Eala, through relentless dedication, has helped place the Philippines firmly on the global tennis map. That is the player Djokovic now wants beside him at the Stuttgart Open. Not just the athlete, but the competitor whose character reveals itself in difficult moments. And this is where the story becomes even bigger, because this is not just a feel-good partnership idea. It is Djokovic sending a message to the tennis world. This is the same player who spoke up during the Australian Open, urging officials to recognize Eala's growing impact and place her on courts that match her rising popularity. By publicly requesting her as a mixed doubles partner, he is once again pushing that conversation forward and making it impossible to overlook her presence. The support around Eala now stretches far beyond Djokovic. Jessica Pegula has acknowledged her potential, Rafael Nadal has consistently offered encouragement, and former world number 1 Kim Clijsters has praised the dedication behind her rise. When voices like Djokovic, Nadal, Pegula and Clijsters all align, it is not coincidence. It is the sport recognizing something real. Through all of this attention and the pressure of representing a nation, Eala has handled everything with remarkable composure. She has chosen positivity, avoided negativity, and remained grounded despite growing expectations. Carrying the hopes of a country is never easy, yet she continues to show maturity beyond her years. And now, with Stuttgart approaching, the tennis world is asking one question. Will we actually see Novak Djokovic and Alexandra Eala walk onto the court together? If it happens, the image will be unforgettable. One of the greatest champions in tennis history, standing beside one of the brightest young stars the Philippines has ever produced. 2 generations, 1 court, 1 moment that could become part of tennis history. Eala expressed admiration for a legend, and that legend responded by telling the world he wants her by his side. Stuttgart suddenly feels closer than ever. Tennis fire,